changed my undies after that one.
How close did he get to you?
It wasn't too close. It's probably about 25 meters. It's still close,
Okay.
but
Close
it wasn't
enough.
like he wasn't up in my grill. He was, it was probably about 20, 25 meters away.
And as you kind of look back at that, he was essentially telling you to get out of here.
Exactly.
He wasn't, because you said he had stopped. He charged and then kind of stopped, right?
Yeah. So he had made a noise and had run forward and stopped immediately. And like, it's basically called piloerection when all the hairs of the animal stand up to make themselves look as big as possible. And he was growling and it looked up and, it was look, it was a cool experience.
Oh yeah.
But it was unbelievably scary.
So did your guests in the vehicle see it, or were you too far away from the vehicle?
No, they saw that.
Did
So
anybody take any pictures of it?
Come.
No way.
No one got pictures. So he'd come out of the bushes and then so the road had basically gone around and he had come from there. And so everyone had seen it. Even some of the guys, I said, we've got tracks. I'd radioed saying we've got tracks of the lioness and the two cubs. So guys had sort of driven to where I was to come and help. And as that had happened, I mean, we had been out of the vehicle for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. And the male lion came charging. So guys had seen it and they were in their vehicles watching. So it was, I suppose, quite a comical experience in itself, but also, glad we safe. But yeah, it's crazy.
That basically is that you have no idea what you're gonna expect. I mean, again, the guest experience is you're in these awesome Land Rovers. You got blankets and you're driving around, and basically the rule is don't freak out while you're in the vehicle. Just stay as calm and as quiet and as still as you can. You can take pictures and everything, and all you hear when you stopped is the flashes of the camera. Everyone's just going crazy. Yeah. The one after that first night that I thought was going to be the high water mark, it was basically towards the end. I think it was the second to last day that we were there that we saw that Pride of Lions in the morning. We drove up and parked, and we just, and that was the day that male lion walked literally right past the vehicle. Like you could have reached down and touched him. And then he turned around and just basically plopped down and fell asleep behind us.
Don't worry. This one, I think I made him beautiful man. I don't like that one to take over that one.
They're so used to that vehicle, right? As long as you're not doing anything out of the ordinary, that's basically a big rock to them, right? Are they that comfortable with that image, or what's why were we not freaking out that thing was right there?
Yeah, so I suppose it's been a long journey, similar to that of the leopards of Londolozi, where a lot of these animals have become habituated to being viewed by the Land Rover. So, we obviously respect them in the sense that we don't want to get, or we don't want to get too close to them. Like if they're walking along and we park, it's up to them whether they come and walk towards us. But we're not going to drive up and, park right next to them. So it's been a whole process where these animals have got used to the vehicle. There hasn't been, they're not viewed, obviously we're not a predator because nothing's happened in the past and nothing obviously will happen. But it is quite interesting as well in the sense that because the Sabi Sands is open to the Kruger, you get male lions and leopards that come in from the Kruger National Park that are completely wild. And when they see a vehicle, then they run. So then it starts, if you know, if that male lion or that male leopard or female leopard start to set up a territory at Londolozi, you know, they're quite skittish initially, but then after, you know, hundreds and hundreds of times going out there to try and find that specific leopard, you know, it becomes a whole habituation process, and then they become more comfortable with being viewed.
Yeah, that's, and then obviously if he comes down into Londolozi from the Kruger, do they stay once they're used to it, or is it? I mean, I guess the question is it a lot more? I don't even know how to explain this. It's not a zoo-like environment, but is it safer for them in Londolozi than it would?
No, not at all. Yeah. It's a same environment. So the thing is that, you know, I think Londolozi there's a lot of water with the Sand River. So there's lots of grass and it's very lush, and therefore there's a lot of prey. So the predators follow. So it's been a whole process, and there's been, you know, a lot of work that's been done on Londolozi as well to initially take out all the sickle bush, which was like an invasive weed that sucked up all the water, to open up the crests and fill the seep lines, and to get it back into its original sort of functioning ecosystem. So yeah, the lions and leopards, they won't come to stay because it's like better than the Kruger National Park. Also, it's very dependent on territory. So if they come in and there's a vacancy and they haven't been pushed out by other leopards or lions, you know, then they might say, okay, I'm comfortable here. Then they start marking their territory, and then they'll start setting up a little territory and, you know, expanding the boundaries of that more and more.